That's Sheriff Heck Thompson. He's here to collect the Dalton boys. So if we see him, we're supposed to point him to his direction. Look at all the saloon girls. Now the Dalton boys should come from back here, from the alley where they hitched up their horses, so they could rob the Condon Bank here, and then the other bank is over here somewhere, one of those.
October 5th, 1892. A day that changed my life and the lives of the citizens of Coffeeville forever. A day that started out like any other day. Peaceful, quiet, a typical fall morning. If I would have had any idea that it would be my last morning with my beloved husband Charles Brown, I would have made sure he had his favorite things for breakfast. We had breakfast together like every other morning. He told me that he had a very busy day ahead. I kissed him and he left for his shop in Coffeeville. The town was filled with people going about their daily activities. Some were shopping, keeping appointments, or just visiting with friends and neighbors. But that day completely changed when about 9:45 a.m., 5 heavily armed men entered the plaza from the alley west of Walnut Street. These men had planned to separate into 2 groups and rob both of Coffeeville's banks simultaneously. Bob Dalton and Emmett Dalton crossed to the east side of the plaza where the First National Bank was located. Grant Dalton, Bill Powers, and Dick Broadwell went to the Condon National Bank, which was in the center of the plaza. What the outlaws hadn't planned for was the bravery of the citizens of Coffeeville. My husband was one of the fallen heroes.
There's 2 of them. Watch out. Oh, here's the others. Here we go.
Good morning. Can I help you?
Get your hands up with the money in this bag.
I can't. The money's in the vault.
Get it or I'll shoot you.
I can't do that. The vault's on a time block. It won't open till 9:30.
That money grabs flying through you. What time is it now?
It's 9:20.
Go, Grant. We'll wait for him. Get the bag here.
Okay, sir.
All right, brother. I'm trying to wait. Get moving, Grant.
Get on the face. Move.
Go.
The Dolphins are robbing the bank! The Dolphins are robbing the bank!
Uh-oh. Here it comes. Here it comes.
Alec McKenna, is that you?
Yeah, come on out. Leave that money in
Get
there.
on out of here, you don't want none of this. We're coming your way. We better move.
he just picked it up. Oh, people are dying now.
They don't fall.
Woo!
Oh, that was a good one.
Oh, good job.
Oh, he's only got shots.
He's still wiggling.
That guy's checking it all out. He didn't. Yeah, he did not die.
Emmett's the one that got shot 23 times and lived and went to prison. Oh, this guy's still alive. He had to adjust.
Did you get that guy falling?
Yeah, that was
He
funny.
went down on his hands and knees and then put one hand down and then tilted and then fell. He had to get off his stomach.
Had to adjust his junk a while ago.
George B. Coobine was born in 1856 in Virginia. At the age of 19, he came to Coffeeville, Kansas. In 1881, we were married. George was working for his uncle at the Coobine Boot and Shoe Shop as a bootmaker apprentice. George was a warm-hearted and generous person, a loving husband and father, and a true friend, ready to give aid to others. He did not hesitate to grab his Winchester and leave his boot shop to help the townspeople protect their property. On that fateful day, he stood with his Winchester ready, and it was to defend our city. He was shot and killed instantly. He was only 36 years old. George B. Coobine leaves behind his aged mother and 3 siblings, his 7-year-old son Charlie, and myself, Alice, his beloved wife. He will be missed. My son, Lucius M. Baldwin, was born in 1869. Lucius moved to Coffeeville 1 year ago in 1891 and began work in the store of the Reed brothers. His employers took him in like family, and he resided with them. At the time of his death, he was walking out the back door of Isham's Hardware into the alley. There he met Bob and Emmett Dalton. With his pistol at his side,
He was shot by Bob Dalton in the chest. He was carried into Ishams and comforted by many. My son died the next day from his wound. He was in his 23rd year at the time of his death in 1892. He was the first of 4 to receive a death wound at the hand of the desperado. As his mother, I was overwhelmed with grief, but I sorrow not as those without hope. My son is not dead, but sleepeth. Thank you.
My husband, Charles T. Conley, was born in Indiana, November 25, 1845. He married Miss Mary McCord in 1867 and had 2 children. Miss Mary died in 1874. 2 years later, he married me, Miss Sarah Alexander, and we also had 2 children, one of whom is living. My husband was a much-loved school teacher in Coffeeville, ever faithful and efficient. As city marshal of Coffeeville, he was discharged of his duties with great courage. He gave his life freely in defense of the lives and property of the citizens. My husband was killed at the age of 46 as he stepped into the alley, putting himself between the outlaws and their horses. He was shot in the back by Dalton, who lay wounded on the ground. My children and I know his faithfulness to duty will ever be held in grateful remembrance of the people of Coffeeville.
My husband, Charles Brown, was 59 at the time of his death. 4 years ago, we moved to Coffeeville and opened a shoe shop. He worked here until this fateful day. During the tragedy that came upon Coffeeville, my husband saw the young George Kubine fall from a shot in the back. He rushed to aid him, but it was too late. Being unarmed, he grabbed Mr. Kubine's gun and turned towards the Dalton. 4 shots were fired at him before he even fired the gun. He fought for his life, but his wounds proved fatal a few hours later, leaving me an aged widow in great sorrow. I know, as do the citizens of this town, that my husband was an honorable man. He will be greatly missed. The 5 outlaws had made a daring attempt to rob our banks and had been stopped cold. Of those 5, 4 would be dead or dying, and 1 would be badly wounded within 15 minutes. During the whole event, only 15 firearms were used by both the outlaws and the defenders. The outlaws' bullets took the lives of 4 of Coffeeville's finest citizens who had stepped forward to defend their city. Their names have been etched forever in the history of Coffeeville. Strangely enough, with all of the thousands of dollars removed from both banks, by the end of the day, when the books were balanced, the Condon Bank was short only $20, and the First National Bank was long $1.98. That's the way it was on October 5th, 1892 in Coffeeville, Kansas. We would like to take this opportunity to thank the local residents who made this reenactment possible by portraying the various named characters that we have honored today. The defenders who lost their lives. George Kubine, portrayed by Brian Benning. Charles Brown, portrayed by Richard Foster. Marshal Charles Conley, portrayed by Alan Burrows. And Lucius Baldwin, portrayed by Billy Mercereau. The defenders who survived. Casey Seaman was portrayed by Joe McDoulet. John Clare was portrayed by Rick Greenfield. Henry Isham was portrayed by David Brown. Alec McKenna was portrayed by John Alvey. The Condon Banker was portrayed by Jim Horner. U.S. Deputy Marshal Tex Thomas was portrayed by David McKnight. The mothers and the widows. Charles Brown's widow was portrayed by Linda Fraser. Marshal Connolly's widow was portrayed by Mandy Fredrickson. George Kubine's widow was portrayed by Peggy Aiken. And Lucius Baldwin's mother was portrayed by Shorty McDoulet. And last, the outlaws. Bob Dalton was portrayed by J.D. Payton. Emmett Dalton was portrayed by Rob Burrows. Rat Dalton was portrayed by Nelson Riley.
You can't get up.
Bill Powers was portrayed by Richard George, and Dick Broadwell was portrayed by Monty Magnet. We would also like to thank all the others who contributed to today's reenactment. Some portrayed the unnamed characters who made the cast complete. Others have worked behind the scenes for hundreds of hours to make all this possible. Thank you. We would like to take just a moment to thank all of our military service people. We thank you for your service to our country, and we salute you. Thank you for our freedom.
So when they were done, they laid them all out over there in the street for everybody to see.
Oh yeah, that way you can take the dead man.
And there was the picture that got famous. You can see Emmett Dalton looking at the camera. It's kind of eerie.